sorry, guys. I'm sorry. We sit around in the green room before we go live, and sometimes the conversations are just too much for me. And tonight's one of those nights. Welcome to Blackness and Dragons. We are a D&D 5e actual play Twitch stream and podcast, depending on when you're consuming this content, because we are a podcast available on all places where you listen to those things. I'm a Jordan Lambert. I am the DM here. My pronouns are she, her. You can find me on social media at Lambertra. When I'm not playing games on QueueTimes, I may also be found playing games on Exquisite Corpse Presents or Fresh Out the Box, or I could be talking about pop culture on Smells Like Teen Angst. You know who else talks about pop culture on Smells Like Teen Angst? Kiki.
Yep, that's me. I exist here and sometimes other places on the internet. I am Kiki. I play Rayla, and sometimes I throw it back on characters, villains, inanimate objects, just to juice things up because there's a lot of power in the posterior. You know who else has a lot of power in her posterior? My girl DK.
Listen, Green Room was lit and it made my whole fucking day. I'm DK. You can find me here. You can also find me on Girls Run the World, literally right before this in a very horny Regency game where I somehow make people believe that I'm the oldest sibling in a family and responsible. If I'm not there, then I'm on Exquisite Corpse Presents, running a very broken game of D&D that doesn't have any magic in it, but does have a lot of gay panic. Other than that, you can find me talking about all those things on Twitter at AbbaDarlings. You know who I don't think you can find on Twitter, and I think the magic would be lost if you could? Moses.
Yeah, that's correct. Thanks, DK. That's pretty accurate. I think social media is that's all I have to say about that. But you know who has a lot to say about everything? My boy Jeff.
Jeff's just not going to say anything. One thing that I will say is when you said it was a very horny Regency game, a voice in my brain immediately was like, they be showing ankle.
No, we had a whole discussion about hemlines and me checking to make sure my little sister was not showing her entire calf.
They be showing ankles. Horny. Do you want to introduce yourself, Jeff, or we got to go right into the Black History quote?
I think it was number 2.
Oh, yeah, I think it was number 2 as well. Go for it. Go for it, Jeff.
Let me just pull this up.
People listening to this as a podcast are going to be like, what the fuck is wrong with them?
I should walk through. So I'm just pulling up the transcript so I can make sure to. George Bush doesn't care about black people.
That was a good one. That was, yep, A1. A1.
Evergreen is what we call that in the biz. Evergreen.
This evening I will be doing the recap because there are just certain things that I want to clarify and or small retcons. So last week y'all went to, I believe it was Small Wharf. Y'all went to some town. You hung out with Rufio and the Lost Boys. You were looking to see if you could find out who Mordred II's real father was, and you found him living amongst the Lost Boys. You fought a big old nasty cat monster with tentacles and beat the shit out of it. And in gratitude, Rufio granted you alone time to talk to Mordred's actual biological father, Jamie. You were able to absolutely prove that he was Mordred's father using the magical coin that you have as loot. And basically, you got halfway through this grand adventure that we're on. And you know, your next part is going to be having to figure out who the true heir is. That way you can take both the proof that Mordred is not the real heir and the actual heir back to Matricon and beat the shit out of Mordred. You also picked up some loot. It was a bottle of glitter, which is pixie dust, BTW. I let the cast know that in a text message after the game. I forgot to say it on air. And yeah, so you guys stayed in Small Wharf over the evening with the Lost Boys just to get some rest. You had not just some rest, you had a long rest, and we have leveled up. Hey! Everybody's level 8 now. And so you guys all kind of wake up in the morning. You hear the Lost Boy starting to scream, bangarang, bangarang, and it wakes you up. And Rufio comes to where you're resting and greets you all. Morning, y'all.
Good morning, Rufio.
Hope you all slept well. I know it's not a lot, but we do what we can.
Yeah. Do you have any milk?
Milk?
Yeah, I need my milk in the morning.
And Rufio looks at your large tabaxi body and pauses for a moment and says, I don't mean this to be offensive, but do you take it in a bottle or a saucepan?
Oh, no offense taken. If you got the bottle, that'd be great, but I'm not sure if you guys are past that, so glass will be fine too.
Cool beans. We can probably get some for you. Yeah. Anybody else got any morning time requests?
I mean, if it's not too much trouble, I'll take a lavender latte with oat milk.
They got milk from oats?
I think it's technically juice, but we just call everything milk nowadays.
Is mine gonna be real milk? I like the real thing.
Yeah, we got some from cows and probably some from goats too.
Oh,
I don't know about this oat juice, but I'll see what I can make happen. Rest of y'all, any requests?
Plain coffee, please. Just coffee. Just the water from the beans and nothing special.
One
Hot,
hot bean
please,
juice coming
though.
up. Hot bean juice, got you.
Loaf
Snake
of
man?
bread. Loaf of bread.
What?
Loaf of bread.
You snakes eat bread? I don't. You know what? That's not my business.
can you make that 2 loaves? Maybe just
All right.
loaves for the room.
All right.
Everybody loaves.
Loaves, yeah.
That's fine.
And Rufio walks away to fetch you guys breakfast.
I didn't know there was a bed and breakfast. It's kind of nice. I
I
mean, it
know.
is.
These lost children have coffee? I thought coffee stunts children's growth.
They're very hospitable for, a group of feral children and teens, I suppose.
On that note, my magic has been running wild, so it's not reliable right now. Just so you guys know.
Oh, how long has that been?
Yeah.
Happened once when we first met. Thought it was just like a sneeze or something like that, and it's been real bad recently. But worst case scenario, just shoot somebody with this gun.
When did you
Can
have
you
a
think of anything that might have caused it?
No, honestly, honestly, it just feels like it's only interrupting me when I'm about to have a really fun time. So that's kind of annoying. But other than that,
Is it contagious?
probably not. Who knows?
Sure, I got a little tickle in the back of my throat. I mean,
Why not?
should I ask for echinacea? Do you think they got echinacea here?
They probably have echinacea here.
I'm gonna yell down the hall. Can you bring back some echinacea if you got some? Or maybe just some Tylenol. I don't know. Preemptive.
And you hear a voice from far away go, "Bangarang, medicine!"
What is that bangarang?
I don't know what it is, but
I don't know, but I like it.
So I'm gonna address the elephants and the snake in the room. Um, so we're gonna have to eventually leave this place, right? And I guess we're gonna try to find out Find out what exactly we'll be looking for.
The rightful heir to the throne, sir.
Right, right.
Oh yeah.
Well, if it ain't Blondie,
I mean, mm, I feel like if Blondie was able to take the rightful heir's place, it means that at some point they cross paths, right?
possibly. You got that? You still got that picture of yourself?
What? Is it in the backpack? Who?
Did we give it back to him?
And the backpack Jan immediately goes "Bleh," and throws out the picture. And Jan says, "Also have partial family tree," "Bleh," and throws out the partial family tree that you got from Rhiannon.
Oh,
Oh,
What a fantastic bag.
it's
I
great.
really like you. We'll be good friends.
Thanks, like you too.
Quite polite.
And as you guys are about to start looking at these different artifacts and maybe putting things together, Rufio comes back into the room holding a large tray of never food. He's got all the 4 loaves of bread, the coffee. He's got a glass of milk. He's got a lavender latte. Can't really tell what kind of milk is in that. Black coffee and some herbal tea. Not necessarily sure if it's echinacea or what it is, but there's some sort of herbal tea. And he comes in and he says, "Okay, so sound carries around here, and I know y'all are on this whole mission thing situation. So like here are my suggestions. Jamie can stay here until y'all are ready to go confront Mordred about the truth of, his parentage. Just send a message and we'll send him to meet you guys in Matrican, and he can tell everybody that him and the queen did the thing and made the, whatever.
Thanks.
As far as trying to find who the actual heir is, do y'all remember like yesterday when we were talking and you were like, what do you have to protect the boys from? And I was like, nothing. And you guys kept pressing it and you were talking about murder. And I was like, it wasn't any murders. You remember that?
Hmm.
Yeah. So there
Vividly,
was
yes.
Yeah.
Was there a murder?
Well, there's this person who lives in the hills and they collect old relics and really old stuff. And they might have a fully intact family tree. And even if they don't have one, they know a lot of magic and stuff. So like they could probably cast a spell or do something to help y'all. But he's creepy as fuck, to put it plainly.
Creepy how?
Uh he's in the hills and he's not, I call him a he, but he's not necessarily human.
Is he just a shambling pile of bones? Because actually, one of my good friends is a shambling pile of bones. It's a really funny story. So you have to be careful with necromancy because. So
we're okay there. Are we talking like hills have eyes type of person or
Mentioning eyes is very interesting because you would notice this person's eyes. I'll just say that like maybe when kids go to the hills and then they see his house, there's a big feast on the table. You shouldn't eat anything, okay? Just don't eat anything if you go talk to this person. Just don't eat anything. But if you can get in there and maybe like steal some of his books and then get out, it might help.
I'm going to put my big paws over Rufio's ears so he doesn't hear what I'm about to say.
And he says, "Ooh, this is nice and warm."
I'm gonna purr a little bit and it's gonna vibrate into his eardrums. And I'm gonna turn to the group. I don't know about you, but I'm not in the mood of taking advice from a child. I mean, this is barely good milk anyway. So I think everything he says, we do the exact opposite.
I don't know, because remember that story that they used to tell you when you were a kid, where like the kids went in the forest and they followed the breadcrumbs and then they ate the house, and then they got eaten by a witch.
Yeah, but they just tell stories like that to scare kids into making sure that they listen to their parents. That stuff doesn't happen in real life.
But who are the parents in this situation? Is Rufio the parent in this situation? Because I don't know that I'm comfortable with that.
Right? That's what I'm saying. I'm saying we eat everything because they ain't got no good food here. And then maybe we look for some books later. I don't know. That's just what I'm thinking.
Also, and if this guy isn't a shambling mound of bones, then like we could just kill him, and then we don't have to worry about sneaking in. Not saying that we have to kill him, but as a last resort, we could kill him.
What if our first resort is to ask, and our, I can't believe that I'm saying this, last resort is to kill him because we need that piece of paper?
As
Mhm.
long as between first and last resort, there's like no more than 0 resorts, I think that's fine.
Are we all in agreement on something?
Well,
I
Possibly.
suppose we are.
Wow,
I
that
don't know.
that could happen sometimes.
I
that
felt
Henry,
like
he knows his whale, and I'm gonna let my hands out.
As a DM, I don't have any loot to give you because you all agreed on something rather quickly, but I will give everybody inspiration. Yay! Take it. Take your inspirations.
Yeah.
You let go of Rufio's ears, and then what?
I'm gonna look at him. I'm good on the milk, thanks. I'm gonna put it back on his tray that he has.
I hope you like it. That came fresh out of the cow goat.
It's both? That explains everything.
We got one of them milk freestyle machines.
this is literally a cup of oatmeal and flowers covered in what looks like hot dog water. Um,
The chef did his best. He's 7.
okay. Um, well, maybe on our travels we can stop and get coffee somewhere else. But thank you very much, Rufio.
And Rufio says, "Oh, speaking of travels, guys, this is how we're gonna get Jamie to you super fast. I think you already have 1 tube of it, which is good for 1 trip, but like, I'm sure you're gonna have some other places to go." And he fumbles around in his pocket and pulls out 2 more tubes of pixie dust and hands them to Belgoria.
How generous of you. Thank you.
You seem like the responsible one. Anyway, just kind of sprinkle some of that shit on yourselves and then think happy thoughts, but also kind of think about where you want to go and you'll end up there. So, y'all want to go to the hills to see the guy with the books. Do that, but just don't eat anything when you get there.
I'm gonna look at the guys while I say this to Rufio. Right. We'll eat nothing.
Y'all play too much. All right, sprinkle me, baby.
Wait, real quick before we go, do you need more milk? Because I could probably turn to a cow, and I'm pretty sure that I can make milk.
Um, being that I actually do need my milk, I'm actually gonna vote for this idea. I hope your milk tastes good. Have you tried your milk before?
I've never tried this before, but I just, don't want us going into battle unprepared.
I mean, if you're willing to try it out, I'd
Okay.
be willing to taste test it for the team.
Yeah, let's just see if it works.
Let's just give
Better
it a
than
shot.
nothing, right?
Let's just give it a shot, right?
And Rufio says,
I cast Paul.
Rufio, before you can cast polymorph, Rufio says, "You know what? I'm gonna leave y'all to it. You get a message back to me when you need Jamie, and I'll send him
I
to
cast
y'all."
suggestion. No,
But
you stay.
You need to watch.
I can't believe you didn't like the milk freestyle machine, but you're gonna drink whatever. Okay, fine.
I cast polymorph. And I transform into a cow.
I'll reach into my pocket and put on the one milk udder glove that I have, and I take the glass from Rufio and I dump out that trash water that he put in there. I grab Z's supple udder and proceed to squeeze and push in a downward motion, just very like softly because he's my friend and I
Yeah.
don't want to hurt him. But I also have done this before, so I try. I get a little squirt. I try it again. I get a little more. I look at Z. That's good. That's real good.
No. You haven't drunk it yet. I need you to roll a d20 before you drink that.
And Jordan, just to be clear, I am a cow, so I'm thinking cow thoughts. So, moo, moo, moo.
Yeah.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, that one.
I have an inspiration, right?
Yeah.
Okay, because if DK can see my roll, I don't know.
Oh, I saw that on D&D. I saw it on D&D Beyond. I have it up. I saw what that was.
I don't think it's gonna be great. Oh, but did I say utter? I meant.
Ah! God
19.
damn it. I'm so upset right now, and I wish I had said you couldn't use your inspiration because of 19. On a 19, that is the best milk you've ever had in your life. It tastes like heaven and pixie dust. I don't even know. I don't know. You describe. Tell us how good this milk is. I'm lactose intolerant, so I don't know what good milk tastes like.
Growing up, I was lactose intolerant too, so this is complete fabrication. But going method, it is very warm, but like a natural breast milk kind of warm, almost like to the touch it is very like Luke, but to the mouth it is very steamy, and it is like ever so sweet, like a little bit of like juices and fruit flavoring inside, but it's like very subtle. You don't really notice until the aftertaste, and the palate just cleanses the entire mouth out. And I'm taking to my childhood of being fed royal milk, and a little tear crawls down my eye, and I put my hand on the back of Z. That's a good girl.
I let out a happy and relieved moo because I feel like even though I have a cow brain, I know that I did something right. Yeah, I'm still a cow though, just to be clear.
I finish the glass and I toss it on the ground and break it. It's like, let's saddle up.
All right, is everybody ready to travel?
Yep, still a cow.
All right.
I'm gonna make it rain pixie dust.
You make it rain pixie dust, and everyone thinks their happy thought. Very quickly, can we go around the room table and say what that happy thought is?
In character, it's going to be that moment I had Z's milk.
Belgoria?
It is learning to do my first spell with Henry the Herringon.
Oh, sweet Henry. Rayla?
It is delicious lavender and oat milk lattes made by Despero.
And Z, who was in cow form?
Moo.
Knew it was coming. It still made me laugh. All right.
Thank you.
You all think about going into the hills to see this mysterious person who Rufio has told you to go meet. And you are magically transported there. It works a lot better than the transportation potion. Nobody ends up sick or weird. It's just a nice, pleasant little journey. And you are basically at the base of a lot of hills, and very creepy, dark looking hills, like the creepiest forest that you've seen in a very long time. And there is a opening, like an entrance in one of the hills, an entrance to a cave opening. And it's the only entrance anywhere. There's no other housing, there's nothing else around. So you know that basically that cave entrance is where you are supposed to be going to meet this relic collector.
Um, can I use detect magic?
Yes. That's you're using it as a spell, you're not doing a roll for it, right?
Yeah, I'm using it as a spell.
With detect magic, you can tell that there is a lot of dark evil magic coming out of this cave. It is not, if there was an alignment, then this would be lawful evil. Or wait. Yeah, lawful evil.
But there's no like
Hang on. Let me
visible,
actually check this character sheet.
nothing visible.
No, nothing visible. It would be neutral evil. Sorry, neutral evil.
Okay.
But there's nothing visible. You don't sense any traps. You don't nothing like that. You just know that whoever's in there probably practices magic and probably not a nice person.
What say ye guys? Do we proceed?
I mean, to be honest, I don't even know what life is anymore. I wish you guys could have shared in that experience I had back there. Those were good times.
Please stop talking about drinking Jeff's titty milk.
Your friend's milk.
Right, right, right.
Um, Oh, I give out a kind of like it's kind of like a moo, kind of like what else are we gonna do, So I just like kind of like lead the group towards the entrance.
I mean, you could become something more useful than a cow.
I like him the way he is.
This is disgusting.
Give you like a what's up?
All right. Well, who's walking in first? Because I don't mess with spiders, and this is very. Spiders might live here.
Z seems very confident in his choice here.
We're gonna follow the cow.
We're going to follow a cow.
100%.
So the cow walks into the cave opening first, with the three of you trailing behind. And it is a narrow hallway with, there's light coming through the end of base. God, I hate that I'm about to say this. There's light at the end of the tunnel. And the hallway gets wider and wider until you basically reach the mouth of this cave. And it is someone's home. And when you get into like the huge part of the cave where it is this being's home, there is a large feast set out at the table. At the head of the table is a very large, pale-skinned humanoid. His face is very peculiar to you because you don't see any eyes on it, but there is like no nostril openings and a mouth. And does anyone want to roll perception or investigation?
What about insight?
I cannot because I'm a cow.
Anyone who's not a cow want to roll perception or investigation?
I can do so because
I had an 18 on investigation.
Okay. So on an 18 on investigation, you see a lot of different weird relics around, a lot of weird stuff. You can tell this being is very old and has been a citizen of this kingdom for a very long time. But what you do see that is disturbing to you and kind of starts to make sense with Rufio's warning, you see a pile of children's clothing and shoes. No bones, just the clothing and shoes of children. And you also see a lot of very odd paintings that more than likely look like this pale humanoid eating children.
I
What?
will gently nudge Rayla and draw her attention to the pile of clothes and shoes.
Poor babies. Some of these are seemingly new.
Maybe we don't eat the food. Potentially.
I'm gonna highly suggest we don't eat anything. And maybe y'all should act as old as possible. Just gonna say. Just putting it out there.
I'm
Are we in
going.
agreement not to eat the food?
Yeah, more or less.
I'd like to make eye contact with the cow.
Move.
And as you all have agreed on this, you feel like you're having what is a relatively quiet conversation, but you do see the humanoid begin to move, and it lifts its hands up and their eyeballs in its palms, and it puts it up to like its face, and it looks around, and like it moves around, and its eyes lock on you guys, and it says in a very deep, raspy voice, "What brings you here?"
Can I say something out of character?
Yes.
So, since we did eat bread earlier, this truly is Pan's Labyrinth. I need some sunglasses to put on for that.
Heyo.
As
I
soon as
wish-
you said don't eat the food, I hoped this was what it was. Yes.
Pan's Labyrinth.
Thank you.
I wish Jake could make the GIF 8-bit sunglasses fall on your face right this
We
moment.
can do that in post.
Yeah, we'll do it in post. We'll fix it in
In
post. Yeah. You requested. I had a request from the cast when I said, what movies are we ripping off? And here we are, ladies and gents. Here we are. So Pale Man asks you what you're doing in his house.
We wandered here on a journey to seek some information from somebody wise and magical like yourselves.
What kind of information?
We heard that maybe you might have quite an extended collection of scrolls, books, family logs, and history.
I'm gonna reach into Jan and pull out the half-bitten family tree that we have as visual representation.
And you point at it and he says, it's hard to see that from here. And like moves his hands out. So like even the eyeballs get closer to you. And he says, bring it closer.
I wanna walk with like one foot forward and the other foot sideways. And just be like, here?
And he gets disturbingly close to you. He moves much faster than you think he's able to move, pushes away from the table, is super close to you, and like does the weird monster thing where somebody's kind of like sniffing you, you know, like the one-up thing, and kind of like sniffs you, Moses.
I make the cat growl.
Sorry. And he looks right, like he takes his hand eyes and puts them right next to your own eyes, so he's looking you right, like very uncomfortably close in the eyes.
My ears go dip cataract.
He goes, you know more than you think. You don't need a scroll. And then just turns around and sits back down again.
I, as a cow, like move towards him, trying to be as cow-like as possible, and like just gently nuzzle him.
Roll.
Roll for gently nuzzling?
Yeah, I'm gonna call that strength.
Okay. That's a 6.
On a 6, you attempt to gently nuzzle, and he's very fast. He moves out of the way. And then he turns his hands and looks at you, you know, and says, more than meets the eye with this heifer.
Oh, that's an insult. Wait. No, I think that's just a scientific description.
It is what you are.
Okay.
throwing it back to B&D Season 3. My cows, my cats, and my ladies. Hey.
I'm tired of cow stuff.
Do you have any like I don't know books or pictures or anything like that around here?
I have several books.
Could you? And I don't really know how you're gonna do this, and I'm kind of interested in to see how it's gonna play out. Could you point us in the right direction?
And he lifts his long Doug Jones leg and uses his big toe to point at a bookshelf behind the table.
I'm not disappointed. I'm gonna
Can
move you on
I
over.
can I roll? I don't know what it would be. I don't know if it'd be insight or investigation. Can I look at the torn family tree and count how many human heirs I see on it?
I will call that insight, so go ahead and roll.
$19.
Oof. All right, on a 19, you count about 6 generations of human heirs, but things get very confusing because there are also generations of elfin heirs, Yuan-Ti heirs, halfling heirs. Nickelodeon's Canadocious got around.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a lot of information there, but it's also incredibly disfigured.
I think I figured out a way to narrow it down. If, of course, our friend here will allow us to look at the scroll of the full family tree, I think I've narrowed it down to the last 3 generations that the heir would be part of. The true heir, anyway.
And he looks at you and says, "Perhaps you can borrow my books, but first, let us eat. Let's share a meal, friends."
Nah, we're not hungry. We just want to get in and get out. Is that okay? I don't mean to be rude, but like,
But it is rude to deny your host. Shall we eat?
But what kind of guests would we be if we didn't bring something for our hosts?
A gift for me?
Yeah, a gift for you. Um, Jan,
Yes.
you got any like sleepy like indica in there?
Just one last roll of mouseweed.
Let me get that.
And Jan is terrified of this pale man. So Jan very quietly spits out the last mouseweed joint you have.
We've come far, far away, and we've collected some medicinal herbs on our travel. And I'd love to offer you this token of peace and appreciation. It's always good to smoke before you eat, right?
Roll persuasion.
Okay. I have a really good modifier on them.
I know.
So it's a modified 22.
On a modified 22, he holds his hands up and say, "Can you light it, please?"
No problem, my guy. I got you.
And again, he is super fast. He gets uncomfortably close to you very quickly and does this and like puts his mouth out so you can put the mouseweed joint in his face.
All right. I just imagine because he's got such a big, garishly scary mouth, he smokes an entire mouseweed joint in one hit.
Oh yeah, for sure. He smokes the entire mouseweed joint in one hit, and then is, like we said, mouseweed hits differently. He is incredibly, incredibly stoned. and kind of starts to stumble around the room. And he's moving slower now, but he stumbles and he's getting close to Tyrese. And he looks at Tyrese again, hands super close to Tyrese's face,
Anubis
and
ears.
says, "The information you seek is within you."
I'm gonna use my elbows to kind of nudge him to a couch, maybe that's like nearby.
He stumbles into one of the chairs.
I'm
Uh,
gonna, I'm gonna look for a blanket.
and he looks up again, like he's laying down on his back, but his hands are moving around so he can still see you. And he's looking right at Tyrese, and he says, "No need for a book. What you're looking for, you already know."
What is he going on
Tyrese,
about?
do you know this man?
I've never met him in my life, and
Tyrese,
I'm,
do you know who your parents are?
I don't see how there's a correlation between the two. It's definitely not that guy. And if it is, please kill me now.
Just saying, he acts a little bit like he knows you, or like you already know something. So
He's very
maybe
confident in what you know.
He also eats children. Why is that not being discussed?
Because he's still awake.
can we
And he goes, "Yup, can hear everything you're saying. Still awake."
can we investigate the bookshelf?
He's not denying it.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'm rolling.
I'm at the bookshelf, knocking, trying to like knock books that seem important off the
Bookshelf
shelf.
is rocking back and forth.
Everyone who is not a cow can roll investigation on the bookshelf.
Mine is a modified 22, so let me
I got
know.
a
What.
10 this time.
Okay.
7, but can we use more than one inspiration in a game?
Yeah, because everybody should have 2, so this will burn through your second one.
Also, these dice you
Wow.
get, Jordan, they always hit. I love them so much.
Because it's got the magic of being a gift.
They're
Mhm.
shiny and they just always come through. Like they make me so happy.
Everybody rolled poorly except for Rayla, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, Rayla, you start looking through the books that Z has knocked off of the shelf. And none of them are explicitly about Matricon or the royal family or any of that. However, you find some very, interesting spell books. And one of them is a spell for retrieving memories or going into someone's subconscious.
Mm. Like a pensive type of spell.
Yes, like a pensive type of situation.
Hmm.
Fuck J.K. Rowling. Disclaimer.
Unequivocally.
Absolutely. We own it now.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what might I need for this spell?
Are you looking for the ingredients privately, or are you sharing this with friends?
You know, the only person I asked to help me do anything is Belgoria because she's the only one who has common sense.
So as you are talking to Belgoria about this, Z is still a cow, and Tyrese is putting a blanket over the pale man. As he's hoping that the pale man is just gonna knock out real soon.
I have Anubis ears this entire time. I'm not out of Anubis mode right now.
What is the
talent's
conversation
artificial.
happening between Belgoria and Rayla?
So homeboy ain't gonna tell us shit. But amongst these books that Mr. Cow here and Terry's knocked on the floor, there's this spell for like I don't know, like mind opening, mind reading, memory seeking type of situation. And I'm just wondering if we could maybe cook this up with some of the stuff we have. What do you think, though?
I think we probably could. I mean, it's got all the ingredients there, and your wonderful bag. I'm sure it'll help us.
Both you guys roll I'm gonna call this wisdom.
I'm gonna use an inspiration on that because I'm scared.
I saw it.
I'm scared, so okay, that's better at least. 15.
16.
On a 15 and a 16, you guys quickly look around the Pale Man's lair, and he's got some different. Oh my god, I'm blanking on the word right now. I want to say apothecary, that's not the right word. He's got some vials and some jars and shit. All right, guys, there's a better word for that magic practitioners use. It's escaping me at the moment. He's got magic and jars and shit and stuff and vials. There are food ingredients on the table on the feast. However, you are missing one potent ingredient. In an unfortunate, ironic twist of fate, you need some mouse weed.
Technically, I was giving 2 joints and I only smoked the one.
You need more than one joint's worth is the problem.
Oh, well.
I could always call for Despero, but I don't know how fast we'll get here, guys. Bulgaria, can we maybe send your Raven?
I don't see why not. It's been a while since he's gotten to stretch his wings. If anything, if Despero's all right with it, he could just give him a lift back.
I have a question. Only because it says duplicity. Can I make an illusion that would work for a spell?
Where do you want to go with this?
I want to make the joint into 2 so we can make our potion.
I will not allow it. This is the one time, and I think I've said that this whole year and a half we've been playing together.
And of course, it had to be me.
I have a question.
Yes.
In this world, this is out of character, out of cow character, out of cow. No. Is there a harmless demiplane with mice who smoke weed in our multiverse?
Because you can jump between.
Because you can jump between demiplanes. Can y'all just let her send the crow?
Yeah, but wouldn't it be cool if I just sent somebody to a harmless demiplane?
You're a cow.
Okay, we could do
You
that.
don't even have the consciousness to have this conversation.
Yeah, that's why I said out of cow.
Moo.
Out of cow there.
Okay.
Out of
Moo.
character.
This is a good show we do.
Yeah,
We're making art. We make art. Can we agree that she's going to send the crow?
I agree.
While we wait, I'm going to get another glass of milk from Z.
You just got to ruin my life like this. All right. Belgoria sends the crow. You guys are waiting for any type of response. Tell me what happens this time with you milking your friend.
Since it's visited territory already, I efficiently and sufficiently get enough milk to fill up the glass. Well, actually, now I don't have a glass because I broke the other one. I use my hands to like pull it into my mouth. So squirt until it's like enough, almost like 18 ounces, I'd say, but whatever the measurement is in this world. I feel satisfied.
I could barely do math. You want me to do measurements?
Around this time, an hour has passed. So right when he gets his last squirt, I like start unpolymorphing back into my regular self. And then I say, wait, did we send the crow yet? Because what I could do is I could banish you to a harmless demiplane. I know it sounds terrible. You know, banish is like a very loaded word. It's like a fun banishment, and
I
we
like
just
you
find
better
one that has a
when
lot
you
of
were a
mice. What was that?
I liked you better when you were a cow. Not gonna lie.
I like you better when you weren't part of the party. What? I'm neutral evil. I'm an evil character. That's Jeff out of character apologizing for what Z in character said.
Jordan, out of character, is very upset with you. As a DM, though, that was so true to character that I have to give you inspiration for that.
Congratulations.
It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good to be such a fantastic actor.
You guys, that happens, and everyone is looking around in shock. And you hear the
World
flapping of
Star.
wings. You hear the flapping of wings, and in glides Belgoria's beloved crow, cradling in his talons a small little mouse man. And he
Wonderful job.
gently sets Despero on the ground, and Despero kind of shakes off travel and looks around and says, "What? You called for me, Miss Rayla? Also, hello, Mr. Catman. What the fuck are you drinking? Fuck is that?
It's none of your goddamn business. I'm not finished drinking it.
Something about it doesn't seem right. How can I help you, Miss Rayla?"
Despero, I was wondering if we could get maybe a couple of G's of that mouse weed. We're in a bind right now, and we could really use a spell. Like, a little help with this spell.
It's for science.
Where is the book in the room?
I have it sitting on top of Jan, low to the ground, just in case it needs to be swooped and snatched quite quickly.
It's low enough to the ground that Despero like uses his little tiny legs and walks over to the book and like kind of hops on it and starts reading what's going on. And he's like, oh, I know about this one. Yeah, I mean, I'm willing to help, but he's gonna. Which one of you guys is gonna? Who are we going into?
I think that old guy. I'm gonna point to the blanket.
He said that you already knew.
I haven't the slightest idea what he's talking about. And again, he eats children. You gonna trust
Cat?
everything he says?
We're going into the. I mean, I say we. Can I come? Are we going into the cat? Can I come?
Of course you can come.
Of course you can come. I say we go into the cat. It seems
We're
like
going into me now. Wait.
It
Can we?
seems like the safest option. You can drink your milk, and you can cuddle our big hand-eye friend over here for a little bit.
I mean, how can I drink my milk if you're taking the cow with you? I'm gonna point to Z.
The cow has a name.
The cow
actually-
is no longer a cow, baby.
Well, what am I gonna do when you guys go inside
It's a
me?
man with snakes. Take a nap, boo boo.
I suppose he's got a point, though.
You're gonna leave me with him?
Maybe,
Okay.
yeah, maybe we should do teams of 2.
Or we can kill that thing, and then we don't have to worry about leaving you alone.
I like his idea. I'll be fine. I just don't want
Or
to
we
be
just
alone.
steal the stuff and do this somewhere else.
No, I think we need to do the thing with the killing.
Yeah, I second that.
And just
We
to
don't.
be very fast.
I'm gonna
so
pull
we
out
can
my
chase
great
after it.
sword.
Being and there are consequences.
And Despero like kind of walks around and like walks around the perimeter of Jan and is like, "This is a pretty big bag. We can just fit all the ingredients in the bag, and then all of us and the bag go somewhere away from this guy." Also, Mr. Snake Man, I'm calling a truce with you right now, okay? Okay? Look, me and you, we're cool, right?
Sure.
Okay, all right. I just want you and all your snakes to know that we're friends.
Like one snake can't like acknowledge you, but like does like wink. But it's like a friendly wink.
Okay. Yeah, let's just put the stuff in the bag and then not do this here.
Well, also that ends well. I'm gonna start gathering the ingredients and shoving them into Jan.
And Despero tries to help, but he's also very small. So like one of the vials is the size of his whole body, so it's very difficult for him to like move stuff around.
It's absolutely adorable, though. Thank you so
The
much.
important
Desiree.
thing is that
I
he
wouldn't have
tried.
seen this without you.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. And Jan just takes everything and says, "Oh, are we going where? Ooh, what is all this? What's happening?"
Um, we're gonna make a quick escape.
Good, because I don't like that guy. I don't like him.
Me
Well,
neither.
luckily,
I don't
he's
think anyone does.
high, and we're not children, so
Quick a group thing. I know you guys really like doing the right thing. So, is letting somebody who we know eats children live really really the type of party that we want to be? I know what you're thinking. Z, you just want an excuse to kill something. Yes, but am I wrong?
I don't think you're wrong, Z. But also, this guy has a lot of very useful information. Just keeping it in here.
He
Mm,
is knocked the fuck out on mouse weight. All we
Um,
gotta do is just gang on him, and he's gone.
I mean, out of character, Z does raise a very interesting moral quandary right now.
what
In
if?
theory, murder is bad, but in practice, he is also bad.
What if we try to seal the cave on our way out? Thus, no one can enter, no one can exit.
That's a lose-lose situation. You always know you gotta go for the head, and you gotta make sure they're dead. It rhymes.
Yeah.
Well, what are you gonna do? Pour bleach in his eyes?
Oh, that's a good idea. Hey, Despero,
That's
you
actually
got
What
really
if we
good
just
idea.
take his hands? His hands.
Just
How's he
cut him
gonna
off.
hunt?
I'm gonna look at the blanket to see how like his body conditioning, if he's still looking at us or asleep or.
Oh no, he's asleep. He's sleeping in like one of those weird positions where like both arms are up and like half the blanket is covering him and like one leg is in the air. Like it's like when people get in that good sleep and it's all the body is all which ways. That's what he's doing.
Looking at how he's sitting and to the entrance of the cave, is it a straight shot and like clean? Nothing
Yeah,
in the way.
yeah. You guys don't even have to roll for this. You can just get out.
All right, I have my sword already drawn, ready. I look to the group. All right, I'm gonna swing as hard as I can. On the count of 3, we run.
Before that, can I get one really quick sleight of hand roll from whoever would like to make sure that you gathered all the ingredients you need?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
It should not be me.
Yeah, your sleight of hand ain't so good. Ooh, Tyrese coming in with a good one.
17.
Mine is 17 as well. Modified 17, but 17.
Them 17s. Yeah, y'all definitely, you got everything you need. You have all the ingredients you need. All you got to do is just make a clean getaway.
I'm going to wait for everybody to get closer to the mouth of the cave, and then I'm
I'm
going to
gonna
take.
pick up Jan and Despero and be on my way.
Yep. And Despero says, "Oh, thank you, Miss Rayla. This will be a much faster way for me to leave."
I will move
I'm
about
hanging out
halfway.
with. Yeah, I'm
Huh?
hanging out with Tyrese.
Okay.
I'm gonna look at say. You ready?
Heck yeah.
1, 2, 3, and I'm gonna bring
And I'm
the
gonna need
sword on his hands.
dexterity rolls from you. You're the only one trying to cut off his hands, right?
Yeah. Six.
Oh, dude, on a 6, you fucking whiff it. You whiff. The sword just misses completely.
I'm actually still a little in euphoria right now from on the count of, we don't need to talk about it. Do you want to give it a try?
Yeah. Let's see. Then I grab the great sword, and I'm like, swords really aren't my thing, but might as well, just give it a shot. Yeah, I'm going to use one of those inspiration that I've heard so much about. Yeah, I'm going to use one of those inspiration that I've heard so much about. So that is a 13.
13 was the exact DC I set in my head. Here's how narratively I will say that you kind of do when people like warm up for baseball. So you kind of do one like partial one. That was the first time when the die missed. You do a second partial one. That was when the die missed again. And then on the third one, you just go right for it and whack. Both of the hands are gone.
I grab the hands and put them in my bag, obviously.
All right, you grab the hands, you put them in your bag. He wakes up and sits up immediately and is very confused, can't see anything, tries to stand up, falls back down, and is just basically having a large comedy of errors physically because he doesn't know what to do with his body.
I'm going to karate kick his body in the chest during this entire thing.
Because that's funny, and I've said no so many times this session, I'm just gonna let you have that one. Tell me what happens after you karate kick him in the chest.
He falls back into the chair, but like continues to flip over it into what I imagine is like his hutch of some sort, and all these dishes start just crashing down on it.
Yeah. All right.
Run!
I say, just a second, and then I grab my musket and I say, so I pull out my gun, and then I just fire a couple of shots into. Well, I like load, so I'm like taking the musket. I'm like,
this became a drive-by.
Yeah.
Drive-by
Y'all were
musketing.
supposed to cut off his hands, but y'all killed him anyway.
Well, it's actually
nasty.
kinder.
Yeah.
So yeah, just probably shoot him.
Yeah, I can't even get mad because you're following the rules of musket that I laid down earlier. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen.
I listen when my friends speak. So
yeah, we're getting raided right now. Welcome, Raiders. Thank you so much, Magic Fish Radio.
Hi.
Okay, so the Pale Man has been successfully taken out. You are all outside the cave, back at the base of the hills, kind of looking at each other, and Despero goes, well, that was different. Where to now, folks?
Well, I just want you guys to know that whatever you need, I'm happy to give you. And then I hold up one of the hands to my face, a hand.
Oh,
I get it.
And then I hold up the other one. I'm like, I see some of you are upset with that pun, and I put the other one down. I don't need you guys. I've got 10 friends. And they hold them up like little 2020 goggles.
So going into, I'm gonna lay this out right now because I just had this idea. Because when you said you stole the hands, I'm like, well, now I have to turn this into some sort of loot. This is what we're gonna do. Each hand will give you one wish, but it's definitely a monkey's paw situation. So you can wish on it, but it's gonna end up fucked up.
I'm very good at very specific wishes, so this will be a battle of Jeff and Jordan's.
So you guys have all this ingredients to cast a spell to go into Tyrese's brain. You've successfully evaded this Pale Man. Jeff stole his hands and now has 2 Pale Man hand wishes. What's the next move that you guys would like to make?
I'm cleaning my fur. Well, whatever is going to happen is happening.
I say we search around, possibly find somewhere to take shelter for tonight, and work out this spell.
Everybody roll investigation.
I'm no longer a cow, so just so you know, I'm going to be wrong.
2.
Tyrese, you don't see shit.
14. Modified 14.
17.
Okay, on a 17, Z, you look around and like snakes have good vision, right? If they don't, they do in this world. You actually, can we say on a 17 you send some of your snakes out to go look?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah. So you send some snake buddies out and you're like, man, go try and find us a place to stay. And the snakes kind of sprawl out and look around, and one of them comes back to you very quickly and starts leading you in a particular direction, and you find an abandoned little cottage. Doesn't look like anything bad happened there. Just looks like whoever lived there pieced out.
I send one of my snakes back to the group and talk through it. I'm like, hey, follow the snake back to a place I found. Not very enthused about it. It was just follow the snake. It's just slithers back.
Do we trust Paul or
everyone did pretty good today as far as not doing things that might get everyone else killed. So we're breaking the one rule that we have. So we might as well follow the snake, I think.
So what's the worst that can happen?
all right?
I'm gonna start following the snake's trail.
All right, so you all follow the snake, and you get into this cottage. It's good enough. You lay out all the ingredients. You take all the ingredients out of Jan. You lay them out, and the book is open. Despero looks at it again and says, "All right, I think I got this, guys. Can you help me out, Miss Rayla?"
Whatever you need.
And Rayla and Despero get to work. You guys find a teapot in the cottage, and you start pouring ingredients into the teapot. Despero puts it over a fire, warms it up, and as it starts to do the steam thing, lets you know that the tea is ready. The kettle starts to whistle. Despero looks around and says, "Well, I can't. It's too big. I can't pour that. But if we pour that into a cup, and then that one drinks it, we should be good to go."
Well, I got you. Gonna pour the tea.
And you hand the glass to Tyrese.
All right. Well,
Bottoms up, baby.
And Tyrese drinks it. And Tyrese drinks it and falls into a deep sleep. And Despero looks at the rest of you and says, "Okay, now
We cut off his hands.
No.
Just kidding. Just kidding. It's so
We're
funny.
gonna puff pass, and we'll find out what we need to know." And Despero puff and then passes it to Rayla.
Take it, Belgoria.
And I will, not understanding the exercise, with big angel lungs, just and hand it to Z.
I wipe off the tip and I take a puff. I just like keep on inhaling because I've never done this before. And I just.
Okay. You okay?
I'm gonna take it from Z.
Pat on the back. You're asleep.
You're awake.
Oh, I'm asleep. Oh,
You're asleep. And with that, Despero says, "All right, we're going on an adventure." And everything gets kind of blurry and wavy for all of you. And that is actually where we will come to a close this evening.
Because I got high.
that's a fade out song.
That's a great fade out song. And I will share a fun surprise for our audience and maybe a reason for them to tune in next week, as if they weren't already ready to go. Since we are going on an adventure in Tyrese's brain, I will be handing the DM reins over to Moses for the next 2 sessions.
Oh.
So for the next 2 weeks on Blackness and Dragons, I will be playing the character of Despero. Moses will be our DM, and we'll be taking an adventure through Tyrese's brain to try and uncover some information. I have been, for the last 6 or 7 sessions, A. Jordan Lambert, your DM here at Blackness and Dragons. When I am not working my work, I am playing games on QueueTimes, Exquisite Corpse Presents, or Fresh Out the Box, or I'm talking about pop culture on Smells Like Teen Angst. Or otherwise I'm working. You know who else be working? Jeff. He's got like 19 jobs.
Woo! 18, just quit one. But I did just good enough for another one. So 19 jobs. Just to be clear, love everybody here, but also you deserve my most authentic acting. DK and I know our characters don't get along, but I love her. Kiki, our characters don't get along. Love you. Moses, you know what you did. I'll kill you. Speaking of, you know what I did, I'll kill you. Moses, take us out.
I'm Moses. I'm not sorry for what I did. You call me he, him. Um, find me on the internet lurking. On a certain person's other social medias. My girl Kiki.
Oh, interesting. Well, I'm Kiki. Please do not lurk. Please do not slide. I am close. I am either working, playing D&D, sleeping, and or working on my 10 step skincare routine because I just want to stay young forever. You know who else also is in the game of staying young forever? My girl DK.
It's all smoke and mirrors, friends. Can't confirm. Just trying to make this look like this for as long as possible. I'm DK. When I'm not here, I'm on Exquisite Corpse Presents, coming up with increasingly convoluted training exercise for my players. There's also going to be a Met Gala this weekend, and that's very exciting. Or you can find me being a very, very terse but lovable lesbian Regency dowager before this show on Tuesdays on Girls Run the World. Otherwise, if you're just looking for some reason to know my internal monologue, which is constant and unceasing, you can find me at AbbaDarlings on Twitter. Take it away, Jordan.
We love you all. We're so glad that you tune in because this is the best part of the week, hanging out with all y'all and doing strange things and milking our friends. And we'll see you next week. And man, oh man, I cannot wait to just play at the table with these folks because if you think I'm not going to give as good as I've gotten in the last year and a half, you are not ready. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.